All right, so BJ, I'm going to help you out with this. I tried to recreate yours because your um, file was not in um, it was not in your folder, so I couldn't actually pull your actual file out. So I'm just gonna change this and a couple things that I saw that I think you can make better. So first of all, I forgot to do your whole. So I'm just going to move this kind of in a good spot and then extrude that. Okay, so first of all, your text got locked down on the bottom, and I just think that looks weird. I think it's better if it's in the middle. So I'm going to start a sketch on that plane, and after you do this, you can actually turn off your main planes. That actually helps more. So now I'm sketching inside there. So I'm going to take the text and I'm just going to draw a box. BJ in there, and it looks like you changed the font, which is cool. So that I know that's not your font, but I'm just going to go with it. So first thing I'm going to do is use that outside of that rectangle, and I'm going to take a point, and I'm going to add it there at the midpoint and there at the midpoint. So what I do to yours is probably erase that, the one that you have, and then I'm going to center it. So I'm going to use the two midpoints on here and the midpoints on here. So I'm going to take my vertical constraint and line it up like that. And then I'm going to do, or that was my horizontal constraint. And then I'm going to do the vertical constraint and line it up this way. Now I got really, really small, but that's okay. So I'm going to dimension this, and let's try 1 inch and see what it looks like. That's pretty good, but I think we can do it a little bigger. 2, that's too big, so maybe 1.5. Alright, so now I got 1.5. So now when I extrude this, I think since you started with 1/8 of an inch, you went down, and then you went down again, it's going to make it very thin. So I think taking it up, but what I want is to be flush with this. So instead of blind, I'm going to choose up to face, and I'm going to choose right there. Alright, so now we fixed that, but I think what you tried to do was get the basketball on here, and it didn't work. So I'm gonna give you a way to do this that uses the revolve tool, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. So what we're gonna do first is redraw our basketball line. So I'm gonna start a sketch on the top of it. Before I make that sketch, I'm going to turn off all these planes just to make stuff a little less confusing. I'm going to start a sketch on top of this plane, and we're going to make our basketball first. So I'm going to use the center point, and that's all. So now I've got this center point. I can create a plane that goes to the middle of this. There's a bunch of different ways we can do it, but I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to click the plane tool and go plane point. So I'm going to click on the side plane and then in the middle of the basketball. I'm going to click check. Alright, so now I've got this plane cutting through the middle, so I can use the revolve like we did in the frisbee, and we can make it look like a ball. So what I'm going to do is use that. So now I've got the midpoint. I'm going to zoom in on it, start at the midpoint. I'm going to make a line up, and I'm going to dimension that at 0.1. Then I'm going to take the 3-point arc that we use a lot in the ice scraper. I'm going to make just an arc like this. And then instead of extruding, I'm going to revolve axis. So I got to click in the first, click that, then click in the box of revolve axis, and I'm going to spin that around. So now I have a concave part for the ball. So now what I'm going to do is make our seams. And so I'm going to turn this plane off so it's out of the way. So what I'm going to do is I need to create a plane above this. So I'm going to go plane and then I'm going to rotate this so it's just above the ball that I just made. So I don't want it, it doesn't matter, it can be really high above, it doesn't matter. And now I'm going to start a sketch on it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to project this circle from my basketball. So I clicked on this, I used the use tool and click on this. And now I've got this circle on the top. So what I'm going to do is take my circle tool and I'm going to find the midpoint. So I'm going to go just above the circle and I'm going to make two circles like this. And then I'm going to go just below, but keep on the center and make two circles. So you've made a basketball before, but this one I want to see more dimensions in it. So what we want to do is equal these two outside circles, and sure, we'll make the two inside circles equal as well. So I use the equal constraint for that. Now D, we're going to dimension this, put 0.02 between them, so that should change it. We're going to dimension the center points from here to here. We're going to do 0.8, and from here to here, 0.8. Alright, and then the last thing, we just need to give this a dimension, so I'm going to do 1.25. And I'm just guessing that looks pretty good. It looks like a basketball. Last thing is we need the straight line. So I'm going to take our center point rectangle, which is actually the one at the bottom, and I'm going to start at the center point, and I'm just going to make a real long line across there. It doesn't matter how far it goes. And then I'm going to take my dimension tool and do this the same width as the other lines. And so now I'm going to end my sketch. I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to choose inside the lines that go into my basketball, and I'm going to choose remove, and up to face, and I'm going to try and choose this face. That won't work, so I'm just going to do blind, and I'm just going to attempt, I don't want to cut too far in, I want to basically cut it so it goes right to the line. So I'm just dragging this arrow. That looks pretty good, so I can click the check. Now I've got that all cut out. The only problem is now my keychain hole isn't there. So what I can do is just do this again. Start a sketch on the back. Use. So that'll give me my circle. Extrude. Choose that. I'm going to choose remove. And that should cut through. So now I've got this basketball and everything. Just your text. Okay, so your text, it went away, but it's still in the video at the beginning. I'm not sure what happened. So hopefully this, this looks pretty cool with your name in there. Much better. It's got your unique function now, so that would be full credit for that part of it. This could get you a really good grade, and you'd probably learn something. So check this out, and I'll send this to you.